Hello, everyone. This is Robert Allen here in Fuzhou, China. Oops. Um, my signal a couple of days ago was not good, and it's not great right now, actually. And so I hope this call can actually be recorded, and I'm looking forward to talking to you today. This is our Goldmiind call scheduled for Monday, May the 2nd, 2016. And like I said, I showed you, I'm calling you from a hotel in Fuzhou, China, and looking forward to chatting with you today about what we call the willpower that each of us needs to achieve our financial dreams, right? So let me share my screen. And this is our Goldmiind training for May the 2nd, 2016. It's map number 3 is the way we've been describing it. And map number 3 talks about the habits of financial success I call building will. The secrets that happy, successful people use, the rituals that they use to create success. So my question to you today is, are you ready to learn some rituals? Now, what's a ritual? A ritual is where you do certain things every day to build will. Now, willpower is the most important power that human beings as ordinary people can use, and that's the power of their will, the power of their ability to manage their desires and their passions and to direct themselves to what they really want. So the 4 maps that we're going to talk about over and over and over again every single week. Um, First map is the map of clarity. What do you want? When do you want it? The second map is anticipation, is what could stand in your way and what could actually push you forward. In other words, planning for the challenges that are arriving daily on your doorstep. And then this map is the map of ritual, meaning how do you build the courage, the determination, the strength, the commitment to move forward to what you really want. Because if you don't have determination, courage, commitment, resilience to bounce to as you bounce through life, then you're not going to get what you want. So you have to have that willpower to be able to get up and do what you want to do. So here I am in China, and I'm talking about multiple streams of income. I'm teaching my audiences as I do around the world, all over America. And this next week, I'll be flying to Rome, to Milan, Italy, where there's a beautiful lake that I'll be teaching a seminar at. And of course, my best-selling books talk about money, and they talk about financial freedom, and they talk about mindset, and they're published in all kinds of different languages. So that's what I do as a speaker, as an author. And one of the reasons that I'm associated with RX, number one, I love RX. I think it's the most incredible business opportunity on the face of the earth. And I absolutely believe that. And I certainly hope that you're involved in RX. And if you're not involved with it, you should be. And I absolutely love it. So when I get the chance to go around the world, I'm talking about, all the multiple streams of income, all the ways there are to make money. But my favorite stream is RX, right? So that's why we're here together. I've flew just this last week. I flew over to Tokyo and then down to Taipei and then over to a little city called Fuzhou, China. And then I'll be going to Shanghai tomorrow and then flying back home. So this is where I am in the world for those of you who might be curious, find out about what's going on. And these are my books in Chinese. This is the way it looks. Hold on a second. I'm going to go back to this view for just a minute. Here it's not good. So here I am in this, nice hotel in the middle of, well, it's not on the coast of China. Technically, if you're looking at America and you want to figure out where Fuzhou was, America's on the east coast of America would be, Charlotte, North Carolina, or something like that. It's about where Fuzhou is on the east coast of China. So let me go back to my PowerPoint. See if we can get this right. Here we go. Technology, huh? so my books are published in all kinds of different languages. The 1 Minute Millionaire is published. This is in the China version. Cracking the Millionaire Code. This is what it looks like in China. Cash in a Flash, my last book in 2008. This is what it looks like in Chinese. So multiple streams of income. This is what it looks like in Japan. It's called Okaman Choja, which is how billionaires think. It's not the title for the book in America, but that's the way they talk about it in Japan. And this is multiple streams of income in the Chinese version. I speak to different audiences. It's an audience I spoke to in Tokyo. And while I'm there at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, look what I find. It's available for anybody at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel to buy essential oils. See that little bottle in the top right-hand corner there? That's about $80 for that one little bottle. And they'll come and put it throughout my room. These products we have through ARCs are the best in the world, and I'm better than that. Here is a view out my window in Tokyo, and in the far, far distance you can see Mount Fuji, and I've kind of zoomed in on Mount Fuji there, which I tried to climb last July, and we got knocked off by a typhoon, and I'm going to be going back here in August to climb it again. I want to get to the top of it. So just a brief catching up. This is some of the buildings in Fuzhou, China. This is a view out my hotel room, and some food we had yesterday. It's hard to keep your weight off when you're traveling around eating this incredible food. The bottom line of what I'm trying to teach you every single week is how you get to what you want more quickly. And one of the quickest ways to do that is to do it more slowly. In other words, it's the speed of going slow. What do I mean by that, the speed of going slow? Well, it means doing things the way really successful people do. They have rituals. They have things they do every day that make up part of the makeup of the building of the strength they have to go do, important big things. They exercise. They do their ritual of meditation or prayer or focusing. They do their planning. They do their organizing. They just have rituals that they do every single day. Do you, I guess is the question I'm asking you, or are you rushing through life so busy you don't have time to take and pause and prepare yourself for the day? There's a quote that I saw hold on a second, let me blast this out a little bit larger. There we go. Hold on just a second. Technology. I wanted to do this right. So, clicking through there's a quote that I saw in BYU locker room, and it went something like this: the will to prepare to win is more important than the will to win. The will to prepare to win is more important than the will to win. I want you to write that down, and I want you to remember it. It was a coach, famous football coach, who said that. Lombardi, Vince Lombardi. The will to prepare to win is more important than the will to win. In other words, you want to be a winner, you have to prepare to win. You have to do your exercises. Any athlete is going to be doing warm-ups. They're going to be doing sit-ups and push-ups and run-ups and sprints and all kinds of things to get ready to play on the field. They prepare themselves for that short little moment on the field where they go out there and they play at 100%. But in order to play at 100%, they have to prepare at 100%. So the question I'm asking you is, do you prepare? Do you plan your day? Do you organize? Do you have a ritual? If you look at all the great ones, they've got rituals. If you look at Beethoven, was he productive? Oh yeah, but how did he produce? He'd get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and he would write till about noon, and then he'd go for a 2 or 3 hour walk through the town, and that would regenerate and rejuvenate his thinking process. It was part of the ritual. In other words, there never would have been bum 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 bum. There never would have been that symphony if he hadn't prepared in the afternoon in his walk. And then, of course, that evening he had his, his performances and things he did. But when he got up the next morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, to write. So the bottom line I'm asking you is, what time did you get up this morning? And what did you do to prepare yourself? I got up this morning at 6. I had my ritual. It's personal to me. I don't want to go into great detail on it, what I do, how I prepare myself. The prayers and the scripture reading and the meditation and the things I go through takes me personally about 2 hours. I was asking Deepak Chopra here a few years ago. We were flying back from Baja, and I saw him in the lounge just before we got on the plane. And then we got on the plane. I asked him a question. I said, we're sitting across the aisle from each other, and I said, what's your ritual? What do you do? What's your regimen? How do you prepare yourself for the day? And he said, well, I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I meditate for 2 hours. That's not my particular ritual. It's not what I do, but that's what he does. And you want to know why he's so productive? He writes 5 or 6 books a year. He's worldwide. Oprah loves him. Best-selling author, hugely successful, far more successful than anything I've ever done. Bottom line is, he has a ritual and he does it every day. My ritual is different, and I break it up into exercise. Today I was on the treadmill for 30 minutes and did do my planning in my book. I do my prayers. I write in my journal. My journal is in the other room there. So it's just what I do. And today I'm ready. I'm going to go speak to an audience of about 100 people a day, but I'm ready. And I'm going to be ready all the way till this evening. We're going to have meetings all the way until tonight. And then tomorrow morning, I have my ritual. Question I want to ask you is, do you have something that prepares you for your day? And just like this little ant is a story of Aesop's fables. The little ant is gathering food every day and storing some of it away for the wintertime, whereas the grasshopper, he just eats and sings and totally consumes everything. And when winter comes, he starves, and the ant is totally prosperous, is set, because the ant did something every single day, planted or saved up something towards the future. And what I'm asking you to do is to be an ant, to save up. Essentially, you're not saving up for the future. You're building towards your future. You're planting something today so that it grows into a bumper crop into the future. So that means every day you have to plant. And my mentor, Stephen Covey, taught me this story called The Big Rocks, which maybe you've heard me tell it, but it's in his book, First Things First. I heard him tell it, several times when I was at BYU. I was one of his students, and obviously as a research assistant for a while. A very short semester. I was in my MBA program. Loved Stephen, miss him. He's been gone for the last 2 or 3 years now, but his book still remains, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and I highly recommend you read it. This story comes from his other book, First Things First, about a professor who shows a jar filled with rocks to his students and asks them, is this jar full? And they say, yes, it's full of rocks. And then he takes out another jar full of small pebbles and pours the pebbles in and fills it up in the little crevices that are available. And he says, is this jar full? No. He takes out some sand in another jar, pours the sand over top until it fills up. Is this jar full? No. He takes another jar filled with water and pours it in until it now overflows. And yes, what is the lesson? Um, can you always put more things in the jar, as one student says? No, that's not the lesson. The lesson, said the teacher, is if you don't put the big rocks in first, they don't fit in. You can't put them in. You got rocks, you got sand, you got water. So a question I'm going to ask you is, what are your big rocks? And for me, the big rocks are my spiritual values. They're big rocks to me. My wife, my family, those are my big rocks. My body, my health, and that's what our business is health. And my mind, these things you take to the next world. You'll have your family relationships, you'll have your mind going with you. You've got your spirit and your body, and those things that are eternal. So, of course, these are my personal beliefs, but I'm just asking you to discover or to create your ritual. And for me, they are the big rocks, so they go in my day first. They went in my day this morning first. And so no matter what happens today, if the old ticker stops beating today, I did the big rocks first. I put the big rocks in my jar first. I did the most important things first. Everything else I do today is pebbles and sand and water. I'll teach people today about money. That's pebbles and rocks and water. It's not nearly as important as other things in your life. And yet I'll spend most of my day doing those other things. And yet I want to make sure that in my day, the big rocks went in first. Not only because they're important, but they give me the willpower to do, big things. So the secret rituals of of happy and successful people, talk to anyone who you respect and admire. They'll tell you what they do every day. They'll tell you about their exercise. A guy was in the pool this morning, looked like a very successful business person. He was I was on the treadmill, he was sloshing away in the water, and I see him later in the elevator, sharp looking guy on his phone. He's ready for his day. So our call is going to be fairly short today. I'll be called in just a few minutes to head down to speak to this audience here today, but I want you to know what a ritual is and what it means and how important it is, in my opinion. It all breaks down into what I call body, brain, being, or being, brain, body, or whatever order you want to put them in. Maybe you don't believe in a higher power or in an eternal spiritual part. Some people don't. And so therefore, I'm asking you to discover or decide what your ritual is. As I've explained to you, I think, and it may not be your belief, but I'll just tell you what I think. It's the being, that's your eternal spirit part of you, which is eternal. And it's part of, I believe, the power that we have inside us. It's our life force. And this life force, I want to spend time pondering it and thinking about it, right? Your brain is the things you learn. And for instance, I'm trying to learn Chinese. I want to expand my brain so that it's stretched to new dimensions, right? Therefore, I exercise. It's part of my body stuff. It's part of my brain stuff. As I exercise my body, I'm thinking, I'm pondering, I'm clearing my mind. I'm much more creative when my body has been worked out. Then my brain works a lot better. And then when I'm connecting all three of those things together, that's the power of the ritual. And so every day I draw this map that explains how important this process is to me. Now, this little visual here, and by the way, if you ever watch me do this presentation, and this is, if it's valuable to you or helpful to you in any way, you can always watch a replay of this later on, usually a day or so later, at the bottom of goldmiind.com. There is an archive of these calls, and I'm going to teach these same lessons over and over and over again from different parts of the world. 10 days from now, I'll be in Lake Garda, Italy, and I'll be doing this call from Italy. But every time the flavor is slightly different, I'll say things in a different way that might, ignite your mind. You may, you may learn the lesson and then never come back. You don't have to. But I want you to learn how to teach these lessons to your downline, to the people who are involved in your business, because they want to be successful. They want to be happy and successful. They're going to be doing some of these kinds of things. They're probably going to have a ritual. They're probably going to have a clarity. They're probably going to anticipate the challenges. And the next time we're going to go into the task. This next Monday, as I return from Asia, I'll be teaching you how you do things every day so you can get so much more done in a day, right? So, like I said, you can always watch this in a replay line, and or you can take a photo of this with your cell phone, click, and therefore you have it. You can share it with somebody else if you want to. And these images in this book will be available to RX members. I've been saying this for several months now. The book is almost done. We wanted to make it a world class, the best of the best. So I wanted you to have the best gift. So anyway, this visual finally is the being, brain, body ritual that I do. It may not be something you want to do, but there's some things I check off the list every day. And sometimes I get them all in. There are 9 things there. Sometimes I get them all in, sometimes I don't. Maybe only 2 or 3 times a week, maybe only 1 or 2 times a week do I do what I call a complete ritual, where I get everything in. It's hard to fit all of this in. Like I said, I've got a speech I'm going to give here in a few minutes, and I still haven't finished one of the pieces of my ritual yet. So I've made this blank for you so that you can write in what the B's mean to you. I call them being, brain, body. You might make different letters for you. I try to do 2 or 3 things on each part of those each areas every week, every day. Sorry, but sometimes I miss some. So looking on the top right-hand corner, the top B for me is being. So did I check off my scripture reading this morning? Well, I used to not do a ritual until I was 56 years old and had a major car accident that almost killed me. And when I woke up in the bed in the hospital the next day, I realized life is so short and it ends. It will continue, in my opinion, in another world, but this world ends. And sometimes we feel like we're going to live forever. And when I woke up in that bed that day, I said, had I put the big rocks in? Had I put God first? And the answer is no. It was always an afterthought. My belief in a higher power was always an afterthought. Did I go to church? Sure. Did I try to be a good person? Certainly. But I hadn't really put it in terms of priority. So this morning when I got up, yeah, I went right. And Proverbs is what I've been reading today. And yeah, I studied that for an hour. Well, no, sorry, about a half hour today. A half hour. Once again, you have sacred scriptures from whatever belief system you come from. Do you study them? You have words of wisdom, books that are valuable to you, that really touch you in a deep way. Do you read them? And do you try to put that into your life every day? It's just the question I'm asking you. I do a kneeling prayer. Deepak Chopra does probably a sitting meditation. Everyone has different ways of kind of centering themselves. How do you center yourself? Well, that's how I center myself. And then I write in my journal. I try to capture the downloads that I receive in my, connection with higher power. And then I try to follow those downloads, those inspirations, those connections, those little signals that I get. Do you? I don't know how you do it. So I checked off all 3 of those things this morning. Then immediately went down to the treadmill on the 5th floor here. 30 minutes on the treadmill. Took my vitamins. That's another one. Ate properly this morning for breakfast. There I go. I'm working on my body, taking care of it. Brain part. Doing my ritual. I draw out my planning. It looks kind of like this. You probably can't see that in great detail because we're looking at a bigger map picture here. But I have a certain planning process. I didn't used to. Um, you know how that is. Sometimes you just don't follow through on. Hold on a second. On your planning, but for me, the brain part is planning, and it's it's getting clear on what it is you want and when you want it, and then organizing yourself so that you do the most important things first, and what I call tasks, which we'll be talking about next week. Um, this conversation today was about ritual, the will to prepare to win is more important than the will to win. Because if you have the will, the courage, the determination, commitment to prepare yourself every day, then you're going to be more successful, period. You're going to be more clear on what you want. You'll be more powerful. You'll be able to distract. You'll not be distracted by the things that distract you. The normal people get distracted by. The world is such a complicated, distracting place with fears and passions and everything swirling around us. And what the ritual does is, for me, it gets things in perspective. Wait a second. This is one day in a long, eternal experience. Today, what do I need to get done today? What must be done today for my ideal life to happen? What must? And therefore, the ritual gets you centered and ready to make that happen. Now, this company, RX, wow. These products we take, they give us energy, they give us clarity of mind. That's part of the body ritual. It's a ritual. It's just what you do every day. You know, you take your products, you take your nutritionals every day. You take care of your body because it takes care of your body and your mind. So it's a ritual. A lot of people they're in this business, but they don't take their products regularly because I don't think they really believe that they are important. Well, it's part of the big rocks in your life to consume the best products you can so you can have vitality and energy and health for as long as humanly possible. I wish you well, everybody, today. Call is a little bit shorter, as I said, but next Monday we'll be back on task, which is the task map. So what we're talking about. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Make it a good one. Ah!